My name is Uno and I play drums.
I'm Per, I drink and sing right now.
Come on, Germany, for fuck's sake!
I'm Henrik, I play guitar.
So, if no one knows you, how would you describe your style, your sound, your music? What is it about?
Prayers on fire for helpless children. It's I don't know if we rock music, proper dark rock music for
The
emotional
darkness
people.
of your soul.
You know, the deep cracks in people. Hopefully, to us at least.
It fits to my view. I just saw you 2 weeks ago with the Devil's Blood, and for me it was kind of dark. Yeah, it's like traditional heavy metal in a way, but with a dark aura. Why?
I think it's because I mean we're when it comes to influences, we're not very limited. I think to one thing, and when it comes to the kind of emotions that we try to render with our music, it's also not very limited. So we, you know, naturally we move in a lot of ways, and sometimes a song becomes very like classically rock song built, but the emotion has to get out another way or another, you know. So that's a lot how it works with the old material. But I think we're taking. The more the days go, we kind of, I think we're gonna reach out further all the time to.
What music influences you, or aren't there any influences on you musically? What?
Influences. I mean, we're huge music.
Words. I mean, in every way, you know, we like everything, basically. Not everything, but yeah.
From pop to black metal music, we don't really care. You know, like you know.
I guess we started out like, of course, listening to Kiss and Iron Maiden, and I guess also when we started the band we were very young, and I guess we built a platform, or like shows. We really didn't choose a style back then, but it was very natural, and so that has been our like a platform, and from that platform we have like reached in the different directions.
And at one point we kind of realized that it was not really the influences that was the most important thing, but the actual things that those influences evoked in us. So to us the cause or the you know what the song is about, or the emotions that drives us, that's the most important thing. So I can listen to everything from, you know, Dark Throne to Pink Floyd and kind of hear the same thing, because to me it's about emotions and not genres. Because
yeah, we don't want it to be like only reference to a record collection. That's not what it's about. It's more about reference to us, basically. So yeah, but it's tons of influence.
I think it's more interesting. It's more interesting with bands that listen to a lot of music and gets destroyed because of that, and not bands that, you know, just try to show what they're influenced by. I mean, to me, you know, it's about the emotion of the whole thing, you know, and that's how we get influenced, and yeah, and it's a big range of things.
But in the context of In Solitude, is it that way that you have to focus on one style, or can you do black metal as well, maybe?
We've never actually put ourselves in such a situation from the beginning either, so I don't know. I mean, we wrote heavy metal on a t-shirt once. I think that's the only time we ever did that. And you know, why we kind of like that, to call us that, is because to us you can put everything from mayhem to rainbow in that range, you know. So to me, that to use heavy metal as some sort of, you know, thing, it means that we are gonna, you know,
We have a wide range to cover
and
and
to express
you know.
ourselves, and I think we're never gonna limit ourselves that much. I mean, there are definite changes from our first album to the next, and it's gonna be huge changes to the third as well, you know.
I find it very interesting because Yeah, I'm 29, but I know different times in metal. I remember times when metal was, I'm the power metal head, I'm the black metal guy. So there were different kinds of genres, and they didn't mixed. But nowadays, I guess we have this open-minded metal scene.
I see it going further and further in that direction. Yes, I mean, and it's very different from where you are. I mean, in Germany and Sweden is very different, and Sweden and England and USA is very different from all places. But yeah, I see an overall that the metal scene, or what you call it, is going to in that direction. I think. Yes.
But I think people are still very narrow-minded.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, even if people say that, I mean, everything turns into a scene. The basic fact to think open-mindedly will one day become a scene too, and people will try to, there will be a few bands that, think in new ways, but then there will be new bands that, try to copy them as well. But I mean, yeah. Everybody should isolate themselves as much as possible and go their own way and not talk to other people. And yeah, that's how I
think
want it.
that way of thinking that it's coming back and probably will be like, as Pelle said, will be much more, I don't know how to say, but anyway, in the beginning of the 80s, everything was like the same basically, as far as extreme metal, and everyone could listen to Venom or DRI or whatever, and it was the same thing, and then it all just became genres after that. So I think the way of thinking as they did back then, everything was the same thing, is coming back. So I guess that's a good thing or something.
Yeah, your name got very big in the time, I guess, for me. And when I go in the internet and I go into some discussion boards, I wonder why that much black metal fans say, yeah, In Solitude rocks, and In Solitude is...
Because a lot of black metal fans are very, they like music that is emotion driven and spirituality driven and driven on either sentimental music or I mean, in many ways a lot of old heavy metal bands are too, but it often only implies on violence or death and stuff like that. But I think we open up to a lot of more things in life, So, but I mean, I think it's the basic fact that a lot of black metal fans like very emotional music that and obviously is directed more to the dark side of things, which we are, that's probably why, I think.
What's the reason for your emotional style in music? I mean, what is the reason that you do this emotional music?
Let the old dreams die. Yeah.
And who is the main songwriter? Is it as a group?
It's a very strange process, because we have this that everybody writes. They write certain parts, but like when we wrote the latest album, we wrote it very intensely, but everybody was always in the room. Whether you sat in your own corner and couldn't stand each other for a while, there was always something going on, and nobody left. You should be in the room when this is done. So it's somehow everybody is involved everywhere in our music.
I mean, overall, everybody's involved. I mean, everybody has written like certain parts in this, and mainly together. I mean, and that's a very big thing for us to, the connection with each other. That's like the biggest influence, I think, for In Solitude overall.
I mean, the other members for me are my biggest influence in the band, so I think the same for everyone. So that's how it works.
And we've developed quite a strange but rewarding songwriting process.
With what kind of style you start the band? Was there a beginning?
Well, we started, as I said earlier, as like a cover band, mainly Iron Maiden covers, when we were like 11 years old. I mean, it was this was our first band ever.
But it doesn't really have anything to do with us today, because it was more the cornerstones of the band, met a long time ago and started to do things, but it wasn't until much later that it actually became In Solitude. But the four of us from Uppsala, our hometown, we've been playing since we were kids. But it wasn't, there was a long time when we just got to know each other in a way and got to understand each other's musical, abilities and the chemistry that makes,
But I think the fact that we have actually played with each other since we were so young is very important, though. Well, we have a 10 years anniversary next year, and that's so since 2002 we've played.
How would you describe the process in this 10 years from this innocent Iron Maiden cover band now to a very big name in the scene? What happened to you personally?
I would describe it would be with the word wild, I guess. Wild. Yeah.
I think we got to a point where we felt ready to show what we had been working on, basically. And from there on, there's a new beginning because you have to become a live band and you have to become a recording band, which is a whole other thing in itself. So it's been a very long and probably a longer process than most bands, because a lot of bands start bands when they're pretty old. They have all their perceptions very put down. We started this band at the point when we were children, so when we grew up with this band, our perceptions of things and our everything, we got entangled to this. So things changed so much. But so yeah, it's been a long, strange evolution. But and we're still in that always.
You come from Sweden. We are German people. We don't know the Swedish scene so much. Did you have to fight Did you have to fight in this whole 10 years, or was everything cool and easy, or was there some
Fight.
Yeah, not physical fight. I mean.
We've always been pretty misinterpreted everywhere all the time. So
I think this little journey has been a total struggle from the beginning to the end. So
I'm not
never
saying any bad about anybody
No,
else,
it's not bad.
but we always have to struggle. It feels pretty uncomfortable all the time. It feels like there's always a certain part that has not been understood already. But it doesn't
Keeps us
have
on
to
the
be
edge,
bad.
so
That can be a good thing too, because it triggers us to put fire in the brain. But there's always been a struggle. But especially in the early days, I guess, because in Sweden in 2004 or 5 or 6, there was, when we turned more back to our roots of our influences, it was not much. We played with Wolf, which is a band we don't have anything to do with basically musically, but going more in the older direction, it was the only way to turn. But we're always very uncomfortable. We're always in a fight, so it's no. Yeah.
From the musician perspective, how do you describe the scene nowadays? For me personally, it's the new wave of the new wave of the new wave of British heavy
I
metal.
don't know anymore because people talk so much.
Is there a wave?
I guess there's really a wave.
It's a wave, but that's fans. I think it's not bands. There's not many bands doing anything anymore. It's fans getting interested in certain things.
But when you go on a big festival and there you have all these musicians in one backstage room.
There are like 5 bands. No, that's not a wave. It's only 5 different.
The interesting thing is that there's almost thousands of people at certain festivals. That's interesting, and that's a scene. The bands have probably played for a very long time and has been doing this for a while. It's up until now.
Starting
that
in
people,
their own way. I mean, we get a lot of questions from like, do you know the guys from Portrait Enforcer and all the bands like that? And yes, we do. We know them, but everybody thinks that there's like a big heavy metal family in Sweden or something, and that we started out like, well, you start this band and I start this band, and I mean, all of us came from different
we started
places.
at different times.
Yeah.
We sound completely different. We don't come from the same place. We so it's very different everything. But still, there is a scene because there's people listening to things, and that's the scene, and it's always been that way.
For your music, what is the best audience? Which country?
Yeah, it depends. It could be. We played like we're in the US in United States and toured this fall, and we could play this little heck town in Ohio, and it could be like best we've been through. And then we play like a really big place in San Francisco, and it wasn't good at all. And you would probably expect like a place like San Francisco to be like monumental.
Actually, I would say if I would choose from one country here in Europe, I would actually say Spain is one or.
Spain and Holland.
How you doing
That's
as
our
well?
base player, by the way.
Yeah, Spain is really good for us, and yeah.
And how is Sweden?
Sucks
Sometimes.
sometimes. Certain times, very rarely, it's very good, but a lot of times it doesn't really work, you know. But
We know too many people too, so it's hard for me to.
yeah,
Personally, it's hard for me to play a gig when I know everyone. So it's easier to. I get less nervous when we play abroad actually because I know less people, so you can totally concentrate on what you're supposed to do.
but
So
it's you can never know where it's going to turn out good, you know. A lot of the times it's the most unpredictable places where you think it's going to go, you know, and it turns out to be the best gig ever.
So, final question: what do you think the music in the metal music style will it develop more into the traditional lane, or what is your?
I don't know what a traditional, what it is really, but
Hopefully it doesn't.
hopefully it doesn't. I hope.
Because I want people to be more open-minded and think in new ways, you know.
Yeah, and break some new ground. Hopefully, I mean.
And I mean, to me, being inspired by old bands, I'm not inspired by old bands because they're old, but I'm inspired because they were thinking in new ways. You know, when I listen to Iron Maiden, you know, it's inspiring to me that not one single band had sounded like this before they did that. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, I think everybody should not think like anything. They should just build bombs or something.
I don't think that bands should try to sound like Iron Maiden. I think they should try to think like Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
If they like Iron Maiden or anything. If you like a band, I think, and you admire them, I think that the right thing to do is to really understand why they sound like they do, and to try to understand what the fuck happened.
or close your doors and not listen to anything at all and just, you know, try to do something.
Cool, thank you guys.
Thank you.